Hi, this is Christina Chen with the WHTG Nightly News Science Edition. It is September 7th, 2050. We've received lots of letters about the biogenesis theory, so we decided to bring some scientists back from the dead. With us tonight, we have Francesco Redi, John Needham, Lazzaro Spallanzani, and Louis Pasteur.
Tell me all about your work on disproving the biogenesis theory.
Ah, yes, the biogenesis theory, one of my favorites. My experiment for this theory was pretty much average, but it did disprove the spontaneous generation bug that was going on. What I did was I took 2 jars, and I put raw meat in both the jars, but I only covered one. And in the uncovered one, a few days later there was maggots, but none in the covered one. But there were maggots on the top of the covered one.
So what did you conclude?
That life does not come from non-life.
Alright, now let's move on to John Needham. Now on to Mr. Needham.
Well, I started by boiling 1 bottle of gravy to kill any microorganisms that might have been living in the gravy. A few days later, I saw signs of life inside the bottle. So based on the results of my experiment, I determined that life had come from something not living.
But people say that you didn't heat the bottle of gravy long enough to kill any of the microorganisms.
That is complete and utter nonsense.
But 3 other scientists concluded that life could only come from life.
And they're imbeciles.
Right then, let's go to Spallanzani.
Where am I? Who are you?
I'm a news anchor in the year 2050. We brought you back to life to answer some questions about your experiment about spontaneous generations.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Tell us about your experiment.
So basically I put broth in 2 bottles and boiled them. Then I sealed one and left the other bottle open. A few days later, the unsealed bottle was teeming with small things, like microscopic animals.
How did you use Redi and Needham's experiments to create your own?
Well, Needham did pretty much the same thing as me, except he made a mistake. He didn't boil them as long as I did.
So what did you conclude from this experiment?
I disproved Needham by showing that life cannot come from non-life, which is demonstrated by the lack of life in the sealed bottle.
Alright, thank you for being here.
Show. We have Louis Pasteur. He is a French scientist who recreated Spallanzani's experiment to leave it open to air. Here he is today, but he's a little confused as to what's going on. Tell us about your experiment.
Well, what I did is I took 4 gooseneck bottles and sealed them. I then boiled them.
Oh, like pasteurization?
Okay, 1, I don't know what that is, but it has a cool name. And 2, I really don't like being interrupted.
Well, sorry then. Gee.
Good. Anyway, as I was saying, I had 4 gooseneck bottles, and I boiled the broth in both of them. When they were sterilized, I broke the necks off 2, and left the other 2 alone. Over time, dust fell into the bottles with broken necks, but in the ones with the necks intact, the dust just stayed at the tip. The broth in the broken bottles quickly became cloudy, which signified life. But in the other bottles, the broth remained clear, thus refuting the notion of spontaneous generation.
That's it?
Yeah, do you want more?
Well,
What did I do? Talk about how I invented the vaccine, how I discovered that if you boil milk or other fluids, it spoils slower? What am I, just a little rat? Well, if that's the way you think, then I'll just leave. Au revoir, chiennes!
well, I guess this is the end of the broadcast. Now let's go to Alonzo with the weather.
Well, it's very warm out. There's not really much chance of snow or rain. Don't even have a special green screen to show the special pressure fields and stuff. But, well, it's gonna be a great day, so kids, get off the couch and go outside, I guess.
Well, thanks, Alonzo, for absolutely nothing. That concludes today's broadcast from WHGT, and as Pasteur put it, au revoir.